Hi, everybody. So this is the video on how to conduct the resume project. And though this video is for all my Guidance 3 classes, and so this may not apply specifically to your semester, but I'm kind of doing it in a general way. So you'll need to make sure that you look up the due dates for your specific term. They are in Canvas and in your syllabus. If there's a change to that, there'll be an announcement in the announcements section. So the resume project is actually 3 assignments that I've just grouped together and called them the resume project, so you know that they all relate to your resume. Because when you turn in your resume, you're going to be turning in, or when you go on a job interview, you're going to be asked if it's a higher level job, like a career related job. So we're not talking about like McDonald's or Pizza Hut or something like that. We're talking about a job that's career related. So like being a college instructor or applying at NASA or applying for a job as a lawyer or applying for a job that requires some type of degree. So basically any higher level job that's going to relate to a career and not just a job that you do. Career meaning like it's your life's work, like you really are contributing, versus a job like you're just doing it right now to get by on money until you do something else later, hopefully that you enjoy. Okay, so for the resume project, you have some choices in how you want to approach it. So my suggestion, and you should probably listen on this, is to choose a job that you would like to do as a career in the future. So for example, if you kind of are interested in becoming a journalist, maybe do your resume project on a journalism job, okay? Because the resume process applies mostly to career, whereas like just applying at Taco Bell or something, you're not going to need a resume. So first of all, you need to choose a job or career that requires a resume. You do not have to choose the career you're going to be at the rest of your life, because this is just practice for that. Okay, so there are 3 parts of the resume project: are the resume, the cover letter, and the job application. So usually you would fill out the job application first, but you would already have your resume and your cover letter kind of ready to go. The resume should be tailored to each individual job that you apply for. So if you're applying for a bunch of marketing jobs, you would want to take a look at your resume and kind of tweak it a little bit here and there for marketing. But if you're using like Indeed.com or one of those other big, like Snag-a-Job, big websites to look for jobs, you want to have like a standard resume up in the field that you're interested in that relates. But when you apply to the job, you want to make sure you tailor specific pieces of your resume for that particular job. The cover letter should always be tailored to the job that you are applying for. There should never be just a standard cover letter you send out to everybody. That cover letter needs to be adjusted for each position that you apply for, so each separate job. Okay, and then of course, filling out the job application is usually an online thing, but there are still places where you have to fill out a paper and pencil, and I'm kind of thinking like for government jobs, sometimes you still have to fill out like an actual application. So you're going to learn how to do all this stuff online because this is an online class and you're turning in everything online. So just to be clear, resume, cover letter, and the job application. All of these are going to apply to the same job, which is why they're all grouped together as the resume project. So you're basically choosing a job to apply to. So you're going to find an actual job listing. And I'm very sorry if you can hear, but my cat is, I have a cat here, and she is clawing at her scratchy post. Hey, girl. Let me see if I can bring her up here so you can say hi. Let's say hi. This is Noelle. This is Noelle Edith. It's actually her birthday today. She is 6 years old, and you may see this video in the future, and she might be older by now, but today she is 6 years old, and she is so cute. She's a very loving cat. All right, so anyway, you're going to find one job description or job ad. So to find job ads, I recommend using Indeed.com and Snagajob.com, although there are many different choices out there. Those are the 2 that I use personally when I'm looking for jobs. And I just went through that process, and I'm just starting a new job right now. So I can attest to the fact that this stuff works and I know what I'm doing. So you're going to go online to Indeed.com or Snagajob.com or other job search engine of your choice. You're going to type in the search term for whatever position you're applying for. And by the time you get here, you're going to have gone through assignments that help you figure out what the right terms are to look for. So when we do focus to career assignments, make sure you're paying attention to the terms that relate to the careers that you're interested in. And I would maybe choose a career that's something that suits you. So as you're doing those assessments and focus to career, you'll be given career choices that relate to you and your personality. And so try to choose a career option and a job that is in that realm that kind of relates to what you might actually do. And again, this is just practice, so it doesn't have to be like a forever commitment. So the resume, let's start with that. So first of all, before you get started, please do not use online resume builders. Do not use online cover letter builders. And this is why. All of them say, we're free, totally free. Yeah, they'll let you create your resume for free, but then they will charge you for it every time you want to change something or download it. And they'll require an ongoing subscription to keep your resume on their website, which is ridiculous. So I don't want you to get charged a ridiculous amount of money. So if you would like to avoid being charged at least $50 to download your resume, which is like the cheapest one that I found, there are no free resume builders. They're only free for a short time. And if you do find a free one, there always is a watermark or something on it that you don't want on your resume. So please listen when I say, don't do that. I have given you explicit instructions in the assignment on how to create the resume. You're going to use one of 3 options. They're all word processing programs. You can use Pages from Mac. Comes free with Mac. You can use Microsoft Word, which is part of the Microsoft Office products. You can use Google Docs, which is a free option. Do not use any other program for this assignment. Everybody should have access to one of those word processing programs. Google Docs is free. Mac, if you have a Mac, Pages is free. Microsoft Word does require that you purchase it. So if you have it already, you may use it. So when you go into the assignment, you will see a little grid, a 4x4 grid. In that grid, it gives you instructions for each of those options. For Google Docs, it gives you a little extra because there's extra stuff to know. So it's not that it's harder. Google Docs is probably the easiest way to complete your resume, and it will be stored online in your in Google Docs or in what is the other one? Google Drive. So you'll have your resume at your fingertips anywhere you go. So I would recommend if you want to have access to your resume at all times, that you should go ahead and put it on Google Docs. But you can always take Pages and save it in Google Docs, and you can always take Microsoft Word and save that in Google Docs. And if you do that, those will also be available online. So you can also create it on Pages. You can also create it on Microsoft Word. So you'll follow the explicit instructions that I gave you for each of those particular word processing programs, but essentially the process is the same. You go into that word processing program, you go to the templates, and then you find resume templates, and you choose one you like. You can always change the colors of any template. So if you don't like, it's like blue and white, and you're like, I love the way it looks, but I don't like the colors, you can change them. So anything is customizable, but it's just the format that you want. You want to choose a format that matches up with the data you have. So if you have a lot of stuff to put on your resume, you want to choose a template that gives you a lot of spaces to put things. If you have very little experience, you want to choose a resume template that has very little words, and you want to make sure you spread your resume information out across the page. You don't want all your stuff scrunched up on one side or to one side. You want everything to be evenly spread out. You want to use the whole page. You want your resume to only be one page. Okay, so for this assignment, 1 page. You can have 2 pages if you have extensive experience, but since we're all students in this class, even if you've got extensive experience, you're going to cut it down to 1 page, and you're only going to include the relevant experience that relates to the job you're applying to. You may create fake experiences if you don't have any experience. So I have students who are like, I'm in high school, I don't have any experiences. Please make them up. Okay? Just make up experiences that relate to the job. But please make sure that those experiences contain all the relevant information that would appear for a real job. So the idea is to get in the practice of creating a good resume for a career related position, not just some job, okay? So I want you to get this experience by doing this and thinking about it. Even if you have to make up experiences, I'd rather you do that and create it correctly than to use your own experience and not have the right stuff there. Okay. So if you are creating experiences, I want you to create at least 2 relevant jobs that you've had in that career field. Okay. So if you only had 1 job, you can create an additional job. So what I'm saying is you can totally fake it. It's just the practice and the formatting and creating the resume that I'm concerned with at this point. Okay. Because I want you to learn how to create a good resume. Now, the reason I want you to use a word processor is so that way anytime throughout your journey as a human being, as you're going to apply for jobs throughout your entire life, you will always have access to this original resume that you created. I suggest every time that you update your resume, you create a new version. So you have the old version just in case you ever need to go back to it. So after you are done with your resume, so again, you're using a template, make sure that you fill out all portions of the template or delete the portions you don't need. You are welcome to add sections, rearrange things, make it look a little different, but you're going to start with one of the templates from Google Docs, Pages, or Microsoft Word. Do not create your own template from scratch, please. This is just to teach you, okay? I don't want you wasting a bunch of time. If you want to make it look prettier, nicer, whatever, you may change fonts, you may change colors, you may change the distribution of the resume. However, I want you to make sure that your resume looks nice and balanced. So when I look at it, it looks pleasing to the eye. Ask around, ask your friends, what do you think? Take feedback, all of that stuff. Okay, so you'll turn in your resume on the due date that's specified on the assignment and in your syllabus, because that's going to vary by term, okay? So you'll turn in that resume by the due date. Next, you'll have a cover letter. It is very important that you follow the very specific guidelines for formatting for the cover letter. So what I'm looking for here for this assignment is that, again, you do not use a cover letter online builder, that you follow the instructions that I set out for you, and that you follow the very specific formatting instructions for a cover letter. So cover letters have very specific formatting instructions because that's how they separate who knows what's up and who doesn't. And a lot of times that's the difference between getting the job or not getting the job. So it's, did this person take the time to create a cover letter that follows the conventions of grammar? Do they have spelling, grammar mistakes? Is the letter formatted correctly? Is it not? So for example, you will be graded on the formatting. So what I expect is that you have your name and address in the right spot. You have their name and address in the right spot. They should be properly spaced apart. You should have the proper amount of line spacing before the date. Then you should have the salutation, which is like, dear so-and-so, to whom it may concern, dear hiring manager, okay, with the proper punctuation. And then the letter. Then your, I guess what would that be? It's not the greeting, it's not the salutation, it's the conclusion to your letter where you say sincerely and then sign it, right? So you're going to make sure that you have the proper spacing for your signature, that you include an actual signature. So this needs to either be like a photo of your signature, or you may use a signature program like that legally signs documents. I know Adobe Acrobat does signatures. I know that DocuSign does signatures, but there's also a lot of signature programs out there. Or you can just print it out, sign it by hand, and then take a photo or scan it back in. Works for me, okay? But please make sure you follow the formatting instructions carefully. The letter itself should have specific information, and I suggest you look at the rubrics for these assignments to see how you'll be graded so you can make sure you hit all the right points. The rubrics for any assignment is right under the assignment. So if you're on Canvas, you look at the assignment, right under it is the rubric. unless it's a discussion. On the discussions, you'll hit the 3 dots on the upper right-hand side, or maybe they're 3 little lines. I think it's dots. So you hit those 3 dots, it drops down, and it says show rubric, one of the options. So you click show rubric, and it'll show the discussion rubric. You should always look at the rubric before you create your assignment, so that way you make sure you hit all the right points. So for the cover letter, I'm looking that you have certain items included in the letter. So usually these are things like you're saying what job you're applying for. So I'm inquiring about the position of interpreter. And then you're going to say where you saw it. Where's the ad? That I saw on Indeed.com. Okay, so that should be your first opening line. Hi, right? So you're like, to whom it may concern, my name is Amy Borgi, and I'm applying for the interpreter position that I saw on Indeed.com. Okay, then you're going to launch into your skills. You want to include a list of skills that are relevant and match up to the skills in the job ad that you're looking up. So you're going to turn in the job advertisement with each of these assignments. So you'll turn in with the resume, you'll turn it in with the cover letter, and you'll turn it in with the job application. So it's the same job ad, but you're going to include it in each one, just so I have it as reference, right? If I have to go searching for it or it's not there, you're going to lose points. Okay, so the cover letter needs to have all that stuff. It should have the date correct. So the date should be the date that you turn the assignment into me on your cover letter. So if the assignment is due on, let's say, September 2nd, then at the top of that, it would say September 2nd, 2000 and whatever it is, okay? So next, we have the job application. And so for this, you're going to find an online job application you're going to find a job ad that has an online job application that meets this criteria. So this you should probably do first before you do the other 2 pieces. So job application needs to have not an inquiry, but an actual online job application. Here's the difference. So if you turn in a job inquiry, you're going to lose half your points on this assignment, because it's the difference between actually completing the assignment the way I asked and really getting out of a lot of work and not turning it in the way I asked. So if you don't turn it in the way I asked and you don't do that work, you're only going to get half credit, because most of the assignment means you've done it the way I asked. So this is what I'm asking. So an inquiry is where I go online, I find a job. So let's say I'm applying for like Taco Bell or Starbucks or something, and I find the job application, but it's not an actual application. It's just what we call an inquiry. So with a job inquiry, you put in your phone number and you put in your address and you put in your name, maybe sometimes even your social, but you never upload your past experiences. And they may ask you to upload a resume, but that's not good enough, okay? So what I'm looking for is a job ad that requires you fill out a longer application that includes your past job history. So you're gonna include the job history that you put on your resume in this job application. So that means that you probably do need to complete the resume and the cover letter before you complete the job application, but you should definitely make sure that the job ad that you choose requires an actual job application online and not just an inquiry. So an inquiry, you're just putting in your phone number, your basic information, and sending it. And then what's going to happen is they'll email you the application later, or they'll call you in for an interview and you'll fill out the application during the interview. It usually doesn't require you to turn in a resume, but sometimes they'll allow you to upload a resume with your inquiry. So you're not going to do an inquiry. And if you do an inquiry, you're getting half credit. So this is a 50-point assignment. So you only get 25 points if you just turn in an inquiry and not the full job application. So a full job application must require that you turn it, you type in your experiences. This is not just upload a resume. It is you turn in your resume and your cover letter, plus you have to actually type in every single job that you have on your resume. So what you type in for your job descriptions should be the same as what's on your resume. Okay, this is just because I want you to get practice in doing this, because there's a lot of jobs that require you to enter all of your job history and educational history, but also require you to upload a resume. So that's what I'm looking for, is something that requires you to do both of those things. So when you're looking for a potential job ad to include with your resume, with your cover letter, and with your job application, you have chosen a job that requires you to enter all of your job history, typing it in. Okay, I want you to get practice at this. That is what you need to do to get full credit on this assignment. So you'll turn all three of these in separate assignments. So you'll see under the resume project that there is a resume section with a resume assignment where you will turn in the resume. There's a job application section where you'll turn in the job application. And there is a cover letter section where you will turn in the cover letter. All of them will have to have that job ad included in the assignment for full credit. Okay, so I'll put reminders in there for you. Don't worry. If you have any questions, you can always text me, 909-224-1204. If it's enough ahead of time, it does take me 48 hours to respond to email, but you may also email me. It's Amy, A-M-Y, period, my last name, Borgi, B-O-R-G-H-I, @chaffey.edu. Please remember to text me, during the day when I'm available. And as of now, my availability changes throughout every term. So make sure that you've reviewed my availability for this particular semester, whatever it is. That's it. That's the resume project. Make sure you follow directions carefully and closely, and make sure you do not use online resume and cover letter builders, because you will not get credit for those kinds of resumes, okay? And cover letters. All right, bye, and good luck creating your resume, cover letter, and filling out your job application.